que todo sea igualdad. Ese es un reto que yo quisiera, que todo fuera diferente en el trabajo, que ya no haya mucho racismo ni discriminación, porque a veces hay unas personas que les va mejor que a otras y ahí se ve la diferencia. Pues a veces, aunque uno no tenga papeles o tengan papeles, sí hay igual como preferencias. Más que nada es la nacionalidad.
Why do I think farm workers are excluded from a lot of labor laws? Well, that's it's all of it is based on racism of like who has always worked in agriculture, whether it be African people that were enslaved. Sikhs in our area were used here a lot for farm work. Japanese people, Native American people. So basically almost every law that protects every other industry was set up to intentionally leave out farm workers because of the demographics and the people that work it.
I think farm workers are excluded from U.S. labor laws because farm work is seen as unskilled, and like domestic work, it's seen as something that should not be seen. I think that if it was work that was done by white people, it would be protected.
Si hablamos en el campo, cuando yo he visto situaciones donde muchas veces el patrón mismo dice, hey, esos mexicanos trabajan más duro que los guatemaltecos, entonces se crea una división muchas veces entre la gente, ¿no? Pero por eso, cuando ves esas situaciones, tienes que también hablar de que, al final de cuentas, cuando haces esa división, estás dividiendo. Tu objetivo, si eres patrón, tu objetivo es que la gente se pelean entre ellos mientras que tú ganas más. En este caso que estoy poniendo el ejemplo es que cuando están haciendo esa división están diciendo que estos trabajan más que los otros, entonces los otros se sienten orgullosos de trabajar duro, más, pero para el patrón queda el resultado, mientras que estos también tienen que igualarse, pero el beneficio muchas veces del patrón, ¿verdad?
A lot of the laws and rules and regulations are made to exclude us because based on the racist history of agriculture here. So when we fight back against that narrative and kind of try to build power for farm workers, it's unfamiliar to the industry. So, but it also lets us know through that process, like that we didn't get here by an accident. Like we were excluded intentionally from all these rules and regulations to preserve a racist agricultural system.
Agricultural industry has always been plagued with situations that basically go against the dignity of each worker. There's situations of wage theft, even the wages are low, that is something that still happens. Situations of sexual harassment that impacted most women in the fields. Situations of violence, because there was no way for any worker to be able to make a complaint and for it to find a resolution of any type. The cases of modern day slavery don't happen in a vacuum. They happen because the conditions that are accepted as normal, and there's a big difference than saying like normal conditions, because there's no normal. The things that are accepted by the industry and by society, because when we talk about modern day slavery, people don't get shocked to know that workers are being threatened to be killed. The challenges have to do with the economics. When you are a worker and you are receiving poor wages, that forces you to work faster, to try to kill yourself. But I would say that the wages in both instances are at the root of many of the things that transpire from that.
Before we had the union, we couldn't leave. Nobody could leave if we asked to leave. This happened to me in 2012 when I was picking strawberries. It was a really rainy day, and it was very cold, and my rain gear just ripped, and all my clothes got wet, and I wasn't feeling good. So in the middle of the day, I asked the supervisor, "Hey, I gotta go home. I'm not feeling well. I can't continue on working." And his response was, if you want to leave, you can leave. You just gotta turn in your work ID and tell your parents, your whole family to turn in their work ID, and then you no longer have a job if you want to leave. So I had to stay work. Now that was before the union, but now that we have a union at this one farm, we can leave at any time, but that's still a big problem. Other farmers nearby where they don't have a union contract, they can't leave.
We have worked with your fingers so cold, your hands so cold you can't hardly touch anything, cutting leaf stuff. And your feet, you can't hardly walk because you're frozen. You had to either do it or you out there by yourself on your own on the streets. Once you start, you don't want to stop because you're making, you're working by the piece.
They mistreated the people like no reason. And sometimes the same people know the English or the same language is try to be like the supervisor. She's Hispanic, but she treated like, and the other people, and they say, oh, you don't like it, so you don't have to do it. Or like, you don't like the work, you don't have to do it, you have to go, or you want to go. So you have to do whatever they say. Behind those fruits and vegetables and gardens, plants, there's a lot of job, a lot of job. So, and they don't pay like they're supposed to do. Last time we go to the farm and they working in the sun and the rain weather, they're walking on the mud.
When you go to the bar and they be talking about different things and all of a sudden, oh, here come the muck stepping people. So I'm going, what you talking about muck stepping? I said, you're not no better than me. I said, that's one thing I was taught. Nobody is better than the next person.
I think that's a really huge challenge that they face, is that they do this work that we need and they're not protected in the course of doing that work.
We would also might be hoeing the tobacco, whatever produce out there, and then you hear a plane come along. From my understanding, they tell the driver, stay on one side. You stay on that side and not over the people. But he would come over every time, and all this in white stuff just falling down on our skin and stuff like this. A lot, see, there were people that soles and stuff came on them. Their kids got this stuff on them, soles and things on them. And from this spray, you say something about it, then, well, if you can't stand it or if you don't like it, then you should stay home. Well, we can't stay home. We need the money,
Even when we cut leaf stuff, sometimes people would cut their hands. The boxes would cut your cuticles all up in different stuff, so it was kind of harsh out on the farm, but yet and still, everybody was certified they made a living to feed their family. There was a lot of people broke out from the chemicals that we were working in. They sprayed us in the tractor right next to the field we was in, and early in the morning we got sprayed with the airplane. You just feel it like mist and rain on you. And they wouldn't warn us now time that they were going to spray. They'd just be spraying.
En una temporada me caí 2 veces en el hospital porque yo me daba como una tosecita, como con flemas, pero era sangre. Yo sacaba sangre y tenía que ir rápido al hospital para que con una inyección se me quitaba la tos y todo eso. Que tengo un pulmón inflamado y que es un virus lo que tengo yo. Ajá, y pues sí va poco a poco, pero yo me imagino que es por el campo, de haber trabajado entre la tierra, los químicos, bajo la lluvia, el sol, polvo, todo eso.
Workers are excluded from U.S. labor laws because farm work is seen as unskilled, and like domestic work, it's seen as something that should not be seen. I think that if it was work that was done by white people, it would be protected.
I know they have a little skeleton, like danger, that I didn't know. And at the time, I don't know no English, I don't know what the sign mean. So I just work normal, and I don't have no gloves, touch the soil. And the work I am right now is a lot of people from Haiti, and they don't speak English, barely Spanish, and they talk French. So I know they suffering right now in this time, struggling the language.
A veces el inglés igual es preferencias de que si tú, por ejemplo, hace poco me dice un muchacho, tú para estar en este puesto tienes que hablar inglés. Le digo, pero si tú no lo hablas, ¿por qué me dices a mí que yo tengo que hablar inglés? Yo creo que lo entiendo un poco más que tú y no tienes por qué ser así con las personas, porque como subió de puesto ya, o sea, como que nos quiere sobajar.
Muchas veces se ve eso y dice, no, pues no podemos organizar, ¿no? Pero a veces uno tiene que ir mucho más a fondo para poder hacer algo, ¿no? Y lo que nosotros hemos hecho aquí en Immokalee es que unimos la comunidad. Por eso nosotros llamamos Coalición de Trabajadores de Immokalee, porque somos guatemaltecos, mexicanos, haitianos y otros países que se unieron. Y para ver esa barrera de idioma, por ejemplo, yo hablo poptí, y muchos compañeros hablan canjobal, hablan mam, hablan quiché. En México se habla el zapoteco y un montón de idiomas, ¿no?, que se hablan. Y el segundo idioma pues es el español.
A lot of the farm workers here are multilingual, and they're treated as if being bilingual in Spanish and English is already a lot of a stigma. People don't even recognize that farm workers speak multiple languages.
Farm workers are from down south, and a lot of them don't speak English, and because they don't speak English, they don't know a lot of the rights. So they know that they can get away with doing a lot of stuff, forcing people to do a lot of stuff, like making them work harder or or making them work overtime without paying them overtime. And what happened a lot of time in the farm is we get paid, a lot of the work site is piece rate, which means you get paid for what you produce, but they don't let you know how much you produce at the end of the day, so you really don't know if what you're getting paid at the payday is really what you produce, or they took a chunk of that and then just never paid you. So they really take advantage of that because they know that a lot of the people there are from either Mexico or more south countries where they don't know their rights.
Pero algo muy importante en los últimos años ha cambiado esas situaciones para muchos trabajadores que piscan tomate, porque sabemos que ahora con la lucha que ha llevado la coalición de trabajadores Immokalee por más de 30 años, ha habido cambios en eso. Entonces lo que estoy hablando de esas largas horas es antes del programa de comida justa. Entonces, como nuestra lucha aquí en la comunidad de Immokalee es cambiar esas situaciones, y vemos que sí, el esfuerzo ha sido por años, pero ha cambiado eso.
It was fun in a way because you learning something. If you really want to learn something, and you see all these other people doing this work, and you want to do it too. So I wanted to do it.
They do it because they like it too. They like it because you have to like it, though. Take care of the plants, take care of the fruit, and you wish to see the fruit of the plant, you know, and that's the reason you plant it. And sometimes that care you give to the plant or the fruit, nobody knows. We go to the store, buy the plant, buy the vegetables and fruit, and we just grab it. Oh, no good looking, and we throw it or whatever. But we don't know who's behind sticking those plants.
I think that a lot of the challenges that they face are racism in the larger community. They are made to be invisible. People see the products that the produce that they plant and harvest, but they don't necessarily see the people that do that work.
I wish that people knew that farm workers are the individuals that are making sure that our country is being fed. I wish that people knew that every single day, when you eat a meal, every single day, that there's a person behind that meal that has a story, that has a spirit, that has dreams, that has a family that came to this country trying to search for something better, and that there are, unfortunately, horrible stories behind some of those harvests that we all get to enjoy throughout the year. You can show solidarity with farm workers by supporting your local farm worker organization, your local farm worker union. There are many organizations that are doing amazing work all across the country. And what I love to say about the farm worker movement is that it's for everybody.